everyone, welcome to the Fishhead Creations podcast. My name is Anna. You can find me on Instagram as Caledoniana and on Ravelry as Obsti. And as always, I'd love to hear from you and hear your comments on whatever I'm talking about in this podcast. First of all, what I'm wearing is my Morris tweed jumper, which I talked about last episode. This is what it looks like on. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's just the fun, light layer that I didn't expect to be wearing again this year or before next spring, but it's been so warm recently. We have a really almost summery Indian summer, autumn, that I get to wear it quite a bit. But actually today I'm planning to talk about my main work in progress right now, which is a jumper I'm test knitting for the designer Zillah, or however her last name is pronounced. It's Zillah. Zillah, I hope. As far as I know, it will be published through Knitpicks. At least that's what the pattern layout suggests. But whatever, I'm knitting it for a friend. It's this wonderful thing, which looks tiny because she's just taller than me but half my width, so I hope it will fit her. I might be knitting it too tight again, but then it's an alpaca blend, it will grow. And it's not been blocked yet, so it does need a good stretch in every direction. But yes, this is the main pattern already done on this jumper. It's a Foxy sweater, as the name suggests and as you can see, which is why I'm knitting it for a friend, because she's just the biggest lover of foxes anywhere in the world, and she's also a very knit-worthy person. So when I saw the call for test knitters for this one, I suggested to her that I'd knit it for her if she paid for the yarn, which she happily did, so now I'm happily knitting away on it for her. It's just a simple, standard top-down yoke design. You start at the neck ribbing with a few short rows in the back to raise the neck and make it a neater fit. Then you do just top down to the color work until you reach the end of the yoke, split for body and sleeves, which is done in this colored stripe, so it will be repeated on the sleeves as well, as far as I know. I haven't read ahead too far in the pattern. But yeah, it does have some very long floats in the foxes, but really I don't mind those. And other than that, it's a easy, relaxing knit, easy to memorize rows in the color work, just quite repetitive. I was supposed to shift the foxes around so that one is completely centered in the middle, and I just missed those instructions in the pattern. But I think as it's an even number of foxes around, or is it? Yes, it's 10 foxes around in the size I'm knitting for my friend. It actually looks quite nice to have them just next to the center line, 2 foxes. Works just as well, but the pattern does include the instructions to have the foxes centered in the middle, so that just right in the middle it's 1 fox face here. The way I did it, though, means that the beginning of the round, which is in the center back, is between those 2 foxes here, so I don't get any kind of jog, which I would have had I centered it on 1 fox face. So actually, I think it's quite a lucky accident, and I do like how it turned out this way. From where I am right now, it's just knitting down the body and the sleeves in the main color, and I've just started decreasing for the waist shaping here. So it will have a slight shaping in the body, and then get wider again, just as waist shaping always works. So not too much more to say about this. It's still a work in progress. It's using 5 colors total, which are these 5 nice autumnal colors, which I think with the leftovers I can make some fun things. I'm using Drops Lima. It's written for Knitpicks Wool of the Andes, I think worsted weight. But as Knitpicks doesn't ship to Germany, they only ship in the US, I think, maybe Canada, and the UK, but not to Germany. I couldn't get the original yarn, and Drops Lima has proved quite a nice yarn for me to knit at that gauge, which is 18 stitches per 10 centimeters, which I'm hopefully getting on 4.5 millimeter needles. At least I've done that before. I haven't measured it on this garment, but I'm just optimistic that it will turn out right. I hope so. It will fit her anyway. So yeah, 5 colors. Drops Lima is an alpaca wool blend, so it will grow a little if it doesn't fit her, and it was just nice and soft and cozy. The main color is just the darkest grey, then white and dark orange for the foxes obviously, and a light grey and a yellow as accent colors. The light grey doesn't really have enough contrast to the main color, but it's only used in very few instances, so I don't mind. It works. And yeah, it's only used in I think 3 or 4 rows around. So I'm going to have all this left over in the end to make other fun things. Some baby knits are planned for a friend who has asked for them. So I'll put this to use anyway. And yeah. One thing I have done, because the color changes are quite frequent in this, is I have knitted in all my ends whenever I was joining a color or coming to the end of one color, so that I can just, when it's all blocked, I just need to pull them tight and can cut them off, because they don't need to be woven in because I've secured them already, which I just do by catching the floats in every other stitch basically for about 15 stitches in such a heavy yarn, on such a slippery yarn. In a fingering weight sticky yarn I'd only do it for 8 to 10 stitches and it will just be secure. But yeah, I've just made little bundles of the end. I won't cut them off until I've blocked it, because it's just easier to see how long they actually need to be. But it saves me a lot of time of weaving in ends, and it also looks neater if there's not one line down the middle of the back where all the ends are woven in. So yeah, it will just look a little neater. But that's it, the Foxy jumper. That's all I can say about it so far. I'll report back with a few pictures of it once it's finished and on the recipient. But as I'm talking about a work in progress that's a gift knit, I thought I'd touch upon gift knitting in general in this episode, because I'm really light on the content and I'm running out of interesting garments to talk about. Yeah, most of the time I'm really knitting for myself. I knit because I enjoy it, but also because I enjoy wearing the finished products. I'm a product knitter through and through. While I do enjoy the process, for me it's all about finishing and getting to wear the finished item, be it socks, be it a garment, whatever. Except for hats. I don't really like to wear hats, but I like to knit them. They're just good palette cleansers in between bigger projects. So leave those aside, but mainly it's socks or garments for myself. And basically I have 2 friends that are absolutely knit-worthy, and I've given one of them 2 sweaters or jumpers already, one yoke colorwork sweater and one cabled Kate Davies design. And well, he's a tall guy and it takes a lot of time and a lot of yarn to knit him a garment, but he's just worth it and he appreciates my work absolutely. Although he isn't a knitter, he does know how much work goes into it, and he takes his time to care for all the things I give him. He even told me that he hand washes all the socks I've knit him, even though those were superwash commercial yarns that you can just throw into the wash, but he doesn't do it, he hand washes everything. So he's absolutely knit worthy and he will get things knitted in the future. And then there's the friend this jumper is for. I haven't knit her much in the past. A few pair of socks and a pair of mittens and a hat or stuff, I think. But she is a non-knitter, absolutely loves everything I give her and I knit for her, and she was so enthusiastic as I suggested knitting this jumper for her. Yeah, I feel I cannot not knit for people who are so appreciative of my time. And those are the people I love knitting for and I love gifting knits for, and I love spending the time it takes to knit a thing that I don't get to wear myself, even though that's my main objective in knitting. And then there's my mom. My mom is a knitter herself. I have inspired her since I've started knitting to take up the needles again. Now she's most of the time just knitting socks from cheap wool and not really following a pattern, just improvising and complaining about the heels not fitting but not wanting to change anything about it. It's my mom. She's an older lady already, and I don't think anything would change her anymore in her life, so I just have to take her as she is. And the first ever colorwork jumper I made for myself, she talked off my hands because she just wouldn't shut up about it until I gave it to her. And it does fit her better than it would have fit me because it was my first big colorwork project and I pulled the floats quite tightly, so it's a bit snug around the top for me, so it does fit her better and she's quite happy with it. But I need to knit that pattern again for myself because I really want it. And ever since, she's always asked for knits. There were some things I've given her freely and because I wanted to give them to her and she's appreciated them. But then she bought a bunch of yarn and said she wanted to knit herself a garment of some kind, and then started some things and ripped them out and just left it lying around, and in the end she gave it to me and said, please knit me something from it. It's not a yarn I like, it's not a yarn I enjoy using. She doesn't enjoy the style of garment I enjoy knitting, so what I'm doing from it now is a striped v-neck cardigan knit flat in pieces. Flat in pieces. She offered to seam it, but still, it's a slog. I only pick it up whenever I don't have any interesting projects on my needle, so it's already taken me over half a year and it's nowhere near finished. I finished the back and one front. I've started the other front. I haven't even thought about starting the sleeves, but I think I will convert them to be knit on the round because I just can't stand knitting flat anymore. And it does hurt me. It does hurt my fingers since I was bitten by a cat early in the year. I did get some kind of injury to the tendons, and knitting flat or purling any stretch of time does hurt, so that's one of the other reasons. But yeah, since then she started asking for knits, and that's just the point where I don't want to do anything. Yeah, my boyfriend, I knit him a yoke, the Riddari by Vedisjonsdottir, which is kind of the standard boyfriend sweater. I feel like everybody's knitting it for their significant others, and have given him a pair of socks. He's at least started wearing the jumper now, but he never wears the socks because he forgets about them, and when I remind him he just says he doesn't want them to wear out, so he would rather not wear them in the first place and complain about cold feet. Which is not how this works, so he doesn't get any knits anymore. Yeah, which brings me back to, there are a few people I like to knit for. This one friend's baby, for example, because they are always sending me pictures of the baby in the hand knits and saying how warm and cozy the little one is in that. Then this one friend whom I gave 2 jumpers already, and the friend today's project is for. I'm sure this will not be the last thing I knit for her, and I also have a pair of socks for her lying around that still need embroidered eyes. But yeah, I just thought I might share my thoughts about gift knitting. It feels like a long ramble and I don't think I made any coherent sense today, but I'm making up for lack of content. I'm sorry. Please, I'd love to hear from you what you think about gift knitting. Are there any people in your life whom you're knitting for happily or who are on your knitting blacklist? Like my mom currently is, because she's just demanding too much. Yeah, I'd really like to hear your thoughts about it and what you think about gift knitting in general. And also, what's your objective in knitting? Are you mainly a product knitter? Are you a process knitter? Are you knitting for yourself, or do you prefer to knit for others and gift your finished objects? I'd really like to start a chat about those things, and maybe we can all just complain about that one person we won't knit for anymore in the future. I'm sorry for the 1 day's delay in this podcast episode. I think I will have to just shift my uploading day to Wednesday because of work. I might get to work a few Tuesdays I hope so. I prefer to work Mondays and Tuesdays, and then I won't get time to podcast on Tuesdays. And if I do have to work on Wednesday, I can still podcast on Tuesday and then just upload on Wednesday. Just works better for me right now. I hope you don't mind this 1 day shift. And yeah, thanks for watching. I hope to hear from you in the comments or on Ravelry or Instagram. And I will see you next week. Bye!